This podcast is brought to you by Contessa Digital.
Technology has given us more ways than ever to communicate with other people. Yet, for some reason, I feel as time goes along, many people have gotten worse at communicating. You may know that before I became a dating coach, I worked full-time as a journalist, and it used to be a running joke in the newsroom that for us to be in the business of communications, we sometimes seriously struggle to communicate. And now that I'm coaching women on dating and relationships, I am seeing that as well. So we are going to talk about 5 types of text messages that you should not be sending when you are dating. And some of these also extend into when you are in a relationship as well. So, welcome to Confidently Cherished. My name is Keshia Rice. I am a dating coach and hypnotherapist. I help women learn how to heal from their unhealthy relationship patterns and to attract healthy, loving, cherished relationships. And the subject of text messaging comes up so often when I'm working with clients, whether or not it's okay to text, how to get someone to communicate with them more and text more often, or how to get someone to text less and to get on the phone and talk instead. And we can do more episodes about texting in the future and what I think about all the ways that we have now to communicate with people. But I wanted to start with the basics and with 5 texts in particular that as a woman you should not be sending to a man. The first is texts that initiate conversations. Now, I'm not saying never, but especially when you are first getting to know someone, you should allow him to initiate the conversations. Before you say something like, that sounds, anti-feminist, and it sounds stupid, and women can do whatever a man can do, all of that. Yeah, I hear you. One, I don't proclaim to be a feminist, so sorry. And 2 things can be true at the same time, right? Like, yes, you have the power to initiate conversations. And if after hearing my explanation, you still want to, feel free, go ahead. But allowing the man to initiate conversations first allows him to be the one that is chasing and for you to be the one to decide whether or not to accept those advances. So for all the talk about, oh, you're so powerful, you can initiate conversations, you can send the text message first, is actually more of a power play to allow him to be the one to do that. And then you decide if you want to respond, when you want to respond, how you want to respond. Also, I see this happen way too often. Just like as a woman, I am a dating coach and I work with women. Now that things like the incel movement and the red pill movement have become more popular, there are men out there who are pickup artists and they are teaching, I really don't even want to say men, they are teaching boys out here how to be in their soft guy era, how to believe that they are the prize, and how to have women do things for them, how they can put less effort into a relationship. And yes, I know not all men are like that. There are great men out there. I wouldn't be married. I wouldn't be a dating coach if I didn't believe that there weren't great men out there. But there's also trash out there. That's the other reason why I became a coach, to help protect women from that. And with that in mind, when you are starting out in a relationship, you want to ensure that you are with someone who is interested in you, who is willing to put forth the effort to get to know you. So part of that is allow him to text first, allow him to message first for, 80% of the conversations. Because if you are constantly putting forth the effort in the relationship, does he really like you, or are you just convenient? You're just there. He knows you'll reach out. He knows that you'll entertain. So he's not really worried about it. Now, the second text message that you should not send is asking any questions where you really need to gauge an honest answer. So basically, don't have deep conversations over text messages. The reason for this is, again, technology is great. Love it. All of that. But you cannot get someone's tone of voice from a text message. You cannot get their body language from a text message. So you basically just have the words in front of you on the phone screen. And miscommunications happen all the time because people see a text message and they read more into it than what is actually there. Or you could be, especially in beginning stages where you're just getting to know someone, you could be dealing with someone who has a different sense of humor than yours, who is more sarcastic than you are. Or you could be the one who is more sarcastic than they are. And having important conversations over text messages, again, it's just going to make it rife for misunderstandings, ripe for bad jokes that one person's not going to find funny. All sorts of disasters can be averted if you preferably have the conversation face to face, where you can definitely see the person's full body. Secondarily to that would be video chat, where you at least get some body language. You might be hidden behind a desk or table or something, but you can see a little bit more body language. And over the phone, where you can at least hear tone of voice. So the third text message that you should not be sending, which kind of flows out of point number 2, is using text messaging to define the relationship. What are we? Are we a couple? Are we exclusive? Same reasons as point 2. It is too serious of a conversation for you to be having over text messages. It also honestly comes off as, I was going to say a little bit desperate, but it comes off as more desperate because, again, in general, you shouldn't be the one asking, what are we? You should be deciding that you like the treatment that you're receiving, you like the pace that the relationship is moving at, and you decide whether or not you want to continue that. It comes off desperate in general for you to be asking, what are we? What are we? What are we? And even more so if it's not naturally coming up in an in-person conversation and you're making this conversation through text messages. So number 4, and by the way, just a side note, I got some feedback again from some of you listeners that you like 10 to 15 minute episodes because it is a car trip for you. So you like to be able to listen to one entire episode on your way to work or to the store or whatever. So I've been trying to keep at that time limit, which I'm taking up time to explain that. But looks like we're going to go past 10 minutes, but maybe we'll try for 15. So number 4 is you should not be sending text messages that are long chains of conversation. So that is the good morning, how are you? I'm good, I'm great, how are you? What are you up to today? Oh, that happened, that's funny. Like, Do not have long-winded conversations using your thumbs. If you and this man are discussing something that takes more than 5 minutes to discuss, then it needs to be done over the phone. Because one, it looks like you have nothing better to do than to text all day. And again, I always tell my clients that I never want them to play hard to get. I want them to be hard to get. You need to have a life. You need to be busy. And if you are truly busy, you don't have time to send text messages all day. It's also just a good boundary to send, because there are people who just want attention and who just want access to you. And if they can get that by you sending text messages all day, then they are perfectly fine with that. They don't necessarily need a real relationship. If someone is serious about you, they will put in the effort to have video chats, phone calls, to spend time with you in person. That is time just beyond, being in bed. So if you really want to gauge someone's interests, require them to put forth a little bit more effort. Texting is too easy. And then the fifth text message that you should not be sending: passive-aggressive text messages. So if you have a problem with something that someone says or does, do not argue it out over the phone. Over text messages. Either A, this is just the behavior they showed was a deal breaker, in which case you just don't talk to them again. No need to argue it out and get closure through text. Or B, if you are wanting to work on this issue with a person, back to that point about not having serious conversations over text message, have that conversation, again, preferably in person. If this is something that is upsetting you, have it in person. But if not, video chat or phone call is fine. But being passive aggressive, one, the person may not even catch on to the fact that you are upset with them. Back to what I said about you don't get tone through text messages. Two, if they do understand, it can come off as either not as serious because you just sent it in a text. It wasn't serious enough to have a real conversation. Or, it can also come off as more naggy and whining. Whereas when you're having a conversation face to face, you're allowed to show more concern in your face. You're able to use your body language. Like, you have more communication tools at hand in order to get your point across. So yes, the final text message that you should not be sending is passive aggressive text messages. So if you would like to work with a certified coach who has several years at this point of experience in helping women attract healthy, cherished relationships, and helping you not only improve your romantic life, but also helping you with your relationships with family, friends, career as well, because all relationships are related. And when you improve one sort of relationship, you're able to improve all the others as well. I am so happy to announce that I now have Voxer coaching available. So for women who've been wanting to work with me but don't feel like they have the time to do an hour and a half long Zoom call once a week, Voxer coaching is basically having a coach in your pocket, someone that you can send text messages and also voice notes to, and we can go back and forth and discuss any relationship issues that you're dealing with. Also, looking over your online dating profile, looking at the text messages that you are planning on sending to a potential partner, and really evaluating that and helping you hone your communication skills and help you do the journaling work and healing that you need to do in order to have your dream relationship. So I will put a link to the Voxer coaching in the show notes. And also, while you're clicking on links. Don't forget that I am nominated for the Women in Podcasting Awards, and voting for that goes through October, so I would love it if you would also click that link and vote for Confidently Cherished. Love you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey there. So you made it all the way to the end of the episode, which means I have two things to say. One, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And two, you like me. You really like me. So I would appreciate it if you would show that like by subscribing to this podcast so that more people can hear about it and enjoy it as much as you do. And if you want to know more about any of the links that I mentioned on this episode or any guests that I've had, be sure to go to KeshiaRice.com/links. That's KeshiaRice.com/links. I can't wait to talk to you again in the next episode. So see you then.